Pretty sure there's something wrong. We're off to a great start. Greetings and welcome to LGR Oddware, where we're taking a look at hardware and software that is odd, forgotten, and obsolete. And this time we've got this right here. This is the Essential Reality P5 glove controller, I guess you could call it. It's sort of a glorified mouse input device type thing for PCs to let you control games and your computer desktop and whatever else through the power of your fingers. It's quite the experience, and this is actually given to me at the Vintage Computer Festival Midwest 2019. Forgive me, I didn't write down your name, but he gave me this t-shirt as well. I guess he's with Free Geek Twin Cities. They do some cool stuff with e-cycling and all that. Thank you for both of these things. But yeah, he apparently got this dropped off there and thought of me, and it's like brand new and everything. So here it is. Thank you very much for giving this to me, and yeah, let's take a look at the P5. Alrighty, time to get hands-on with this thing. This is the Essential Reality P5, with P5 standing for Power of 5, as in your 5 fingers. It sold for $150 when it launched in the latter half of 2002, a price that immediately drew criticism. Sure, it came packed with full versions of the games Operation Tiger Hunt and Hitman 2, but $150? That was the same price as a brand new Nintendo GameCube console back then, so it's little wonder that Essential Reality quickly dropped the price to $99 for the P5 at the beginning of 2003. The future is at hand. Ah, geez, they couldn't resist a hand pun, huh? On the other hand, you've got to hand it to them. Puns are hands down one of the handiest ways to get a grip on product marketing without using underhanded business tactics, so I give it 2 thumbs up. Anyway, Essential Reality billed the P5 as the ultimate 3D virtual controller, providing 6 degrees of motion control with the ability to detect gripping and finger movements. It drew immediate comparisons to the Power Glove for the NES among gamers, but the mainstream media really latched onto the idea of it being a kind of futuristic mouse replacement. There were all kinds of ridiculous headlines like, "Are mice now obsolete?" and "The mouse faces extinction." Not to mention calling the P5 a device for hardcore video game players that find joysticks and mice too confining. Because who hates playing games with traditional controls more than hardcore gamers, right? Check out this mock-up of the modern-day gamer in 2002, complete with a SciMouse head tracker, Olympus iTrek display, and of course, the P5. Fantastic! The company also touted this as a potential input device for 3D animation, CAD modeling, and sports simulations, stating that there's a lot of people sick of the mouse. It's a limited 2-dimensional device, we want to go above and beyond that. Indeed, which is why companies like Spacetech IMC sold their Spaceball devices nearly a decade and a half before the P5, quite successfully too. So yeah, they were correct that certain people demanded mouse alternatives, it's just that they were late to the party, and professionals had long since decided on using devices like the Spaceball, which left the P5 for quote hardcore gamers and their supposed hatred of mice and joysticks. Unfortunate then, that game support was so abysmal. Only 5 games were officially patched for it, the aforementioned Hitman 2 and Tiger Hunt, as well as Serious Sam 2, Black and White Airlock, and a demo for Beachhead 2002. Yeah. Essential Reality promised more support in the future, along with PlayStation 2 and Xbox versions, left-handed and smaller-sized models, and even a fully wireless edition. Of course, this never happened. Beyond a software update in 2003, Essential Reality soon stopped development on the P5 and massively discounted gloves started littering store clearance sections. As fate would have it though, this was when the P5 finally started forming a proper community, with $20 gloves ending up in the hands of hobbyists who saw the potential with its new low price point. Custom drivers and a new API by Carl Kenner were a popular upgrade, soon being preferred by users over the original Essential Reality software. But yeah, even that's over 15 years old now. By and large, what little community the P5 once boasted has long since moved on, with recent efforts to add P5 support to OpenHMD having fizzled out. However, on LGR Oddware, we're just getting started, so let's see how it was to use one fresh out of the box. This is the special Premiere Edition from 2002, bundled with unique P5-enabled CD-ROMs for Hitman 2, Tiger Hunt, and Beachhead 2002. You also get some replacement plastic finger-squeezing thingies, and this towering motion tracker they call the P5 Receptor. Kinda looks like a slimline computer speaker with a USB cable, but in reality it's an infrared receiver that senses movement made by the P5 glove. So yeah, unlike the Power Glove's ultrasonic microphones, this uses infrared, kinda like the Nintendo Wii sensor bar. Finally, there's the glove itself, held in place with far too many twisty ties here, but I guess they really wanted to show it off, so they did what they had to. But yeah, here it is. It's a combination of plastic and rubber materials that slides onto your right hand, with 8 infrared LEDs around the edges and 4 buttons on the top left-hand side. You know, the P5 glove is really less of a glove and more of a hand harness that hugs onto your fingers. Actually, you know those jeweled bracelets that extend to cover your whole hand? Kinda like that, but for obsolete hardware nerds? Or perhaps the most ineffective Thanos cosplay, just instead of Infinity Stones you have Infinity LEDs. Anyway, the non-glove has a cable permanently attached to the rear right of the hand, which connects to the front of the IR receiver tower. And in return, the tower connects to your PC via USB 1.1. As for where you place the receiver, well, that's a bit of a thing that we'll get to soon enough, but yeah, that's about it for setup. The rest is all software found on this 4th CD-ROM tucked away in the bottom of the box. The documentation is pretty sparse. All you get is this cheap fold-out paperwork that basically just says to plug it in and install the software. So, enough of me talking, let's move on over to more of me talking. Okay, I've got the Windows XP build going right here, and we have the thing plugged in, all that kind of good stuff. Got the hand ready to go, but right now it is not turned on. So I was actually putting it on the wrong way when I first got it. I had to do some adjustments, and actually those other plastic things that it comes with are not only replacements, but they're a little bit larger, which is good. Some of my fingers were getting cut off with the circulation. Actually, wait, I still did it wrong. It's supposed to go like this, and then the thumb goes in there, and then this goes around and catches onto this bottom part. Like that? Yeah. And now this is the power button, so if we turn that on, you'll see this little red light starts flashing if it's not in view. And now it's solid now that it is in view. And as you can see here, it is actually moving the mouse cursor. Somewhat. Actually, I think I'm gonna have to move back a little bit. Yeah, this is supposedly the optimal distance. There is, however, a calibration thing that it came with, which is this right here. And yes, I'm using an actual mouse instead of this thing. That should give you a clue right there. But anyway, so if I hit the A button, dang it. This is all part of the experience. Crap. Okay, if I hit the A button, it clears that out, and it's supposed to be calibrating my finger movements. Come on now. There it is. Okay, now I'm supposed to squeeze and then press A again, and now it is calibrated. So index finger is left click, as you can see here. I can click like click, 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 clicking around. That's fine. And you can switch these around in this menu here. So index, left click, middle finger, or middle click is the thumb, and right click is the middle finger. So dunk over there, click, and then whatever. Anyway, so this is desktop mouse mode. However, as you can see, it is not the most reliable thing. There's definitely a lot of acceleration in this crazy weird little dead zone. And as you can see there, like now it's kind of like losing the tracking. It's constantly losing the tracking. In fact, let me show you a brief little video, or part of a video that it played whenever I first started this thing up and installed the software.
Congratulations on purchasing your P5. The red LED on the receptor should be facing you, and it will blink when the glove is out of range. Place the receptor to the right of your monitor or computer, facing towards you about 1.5 to 2 feet away from where you will be resting your hand. You can go up to 3 feet and still get excellent results. Just move your hand around in the direction you want to go. The P5 allows you to go left, right, up, down, and Z, as well as yaw, pitch, and roll. Point and click, and you're good to go.
So yeah, that shows you how it's supposed to work, and honestly, it seems to be doing what it's supposed to. It's just not good. If I were to say open up Solitaire here, okay, you kind of have to like move your hand back and come on, click, click. There we go. Clicking is not the most accurate, not the most reliable thing, but it can be done, and it's totally possible to play a game of Solitaire on here. I actually played one through to completion earlier and caused some harm to myself. Take a look at my index finger there. I've got a band-aid on there because look at this footage from earlier. It actually started wearing off the skin from my knuckle because I was clicking. Just clicking, like maybe 15 minutes worth, and yeah, just rubbed the skin right off of there. So that's a thing. It is just rubber here after all. I mean, it's not like the most abrasive rubber. It's not super soft, but they should have put some of their coating on the bottom there to maybe prevent that. But anyway, that's enough Solitaire. Let's, oh no. Here we go. Hitting little buttons and any kind of anything like that is not what this is made for. Come on, go down there. Now see, this is a challenge. Sometimes getting all the way over to the start menu is a real big thing. It's like, I just want to go down there. That time it worked. If I move all the way back here, that kind of works. Actually, I'm about 3 feet away here. Oh.
You can go up to 3 feet and still get excellent results. And still get excellent results. Excellent results. Excellent results.
Anyway, come on. Figure out where I am. There we are. We can open up something like Airlock. This is a little demo of a thing. What? P5 authenticate fail? Oh, that's good. Well, let's try that again. It worked that time. All right, so you've got like this cage and you're supposed to like move it in and out here and grab these floating objects, and that's it. Remember Glove Ball? Yeah. This is not a very well made demo, but it does work just about better than anything else that I've tried. Because, you know, it's actually made for this particular P5 in mind. Like, it's not just some, this works great. Come on. There we go. Wow. That was amazing. And that's all this is. You just try to... It's literally a game that shows off how finicky this thing is. It's like, how quickly can you fight the controls and actually make it do what you want? And it does that every time you try to knock out the game or close out the game. It just donk, and you're just knocked back to the desktop. Anyway, another one that it comes with that doesn't work is Beachhead 2002. Now the game starts up usually, so you can just hit play. The thing is, it takes you to this thing. It's like, thank you for installing. This game has been enabled with ActiveMark, allowing you to run the demo and purchase the full version without having to download again. In other words, it's a cut down version of the game, which we knew. It's listed as a demo, but you just click start playing, and it always just does this. It goes blank screen. And yeah, it's just not working. And then it'll take you back to the main menu, which is nice. It's like, oh good, now I can check out the controls, like P5 controls. It is a custom version of the game, if you can click on anything. Dang it. Come on now. The clicking seems to be not very sensitive in this game. There we go. So you can look at like the mapping. And look, controls. Oh, this is gonna be great. You can shoot with your thumb and toggle weapons with your index finger and fire missiles with your middle finger. And dude, that's so cool. So, okay, let's just play. Let's play. And it takes you back to this screen again. It's, okay, fine, let's start playing. And you get this again. And it's an endless loop of it trying to activate the game or let you play the demo, but it doesn't let you do that. Every time you hit new game or continue game or whatever, it takes you back to this. Anyway, it doesn't work, point being. So that sucks. And it also crashes. Like everything that it comes with crashes pretty constantly. Oh my word. All right, another one that it comes with that doesn't really work. You're seeing a pattern. Tiger Hunt. Let's just open that with the normal mouse. As you can see, the menu looks pretty much the same. And there's a P5 section in the options menu. So these are your things. Good luck trying to change any of this though with the actual glove. Like, it's so hard to even do. Like, I'm barely moving my hand, and why didn't they redo the menus or anything to make this more optimized for the glove? I don't know. Let's just play. We'll not do the training missions. Come on now. Oh my word. There we go. Let's hit the play button. Again, this tiny little button at the bottom of the screen. And pretty sure there's something wrong. You're supposed to be able to control certain directions and whatnot by like rolling and moving around. Here we can go into first person. It does work to a degree. Like here I am shooting, but as you can see, there's graphical glitches. There's something wrong. We're off to a great start. So there's something going on with the graphics. But other than that, like, you can kind of see how it's supposed to work, sort of. You know, moving up and down to aim. Rotating your arm is supposed to, like, move you around. There's a way you can, like, WASD it too and sort of move around. But again, you can't be too close. Well, there's that. You can't be too close to the sensor, it doesn't work. But yet you're supposed to also use the keyboard for a lot of functions. Like, that's not great. It constantly thinks I'm rolling. You can see the steering wheel thing. Looks like it's from an old Toyota or something. I guess that's what you steer tanks with in this game, is a Toyota steering wheel. All right, let's get out of here. Go. That one at least doesn't crash and goes straight back to the desktop. That's good. Now here's one of the more interesting ones, or ones that I was most interested in trying. Hitman 2. Because I'm like, how can they possibly take this stealth game and make it work with the P5? Well, the short answer is they didn't. Right, so Hitman 2. We do at least have some finer control over the mouse here. This is like the most promising thing yet. You see how it's like smoothed and I can actually sort of move it kind of where I want it to? Oh no, go back. This overly dramatic music for this is pretty appropriate. We'll see if it actually loads this time. Last time I tried to play this, it crashed. Oh no, it did load it. Okay, good. So effectively, you're just controlling the view of Agent 47 here, and I'm pretty sure that's it. You can interact with some things. Again, you have to do this weird thing where your hand is back here and you're controlling the movement like this with the keyboard. But okay, like, I forget what button it is. It's one of these fingers. Come on, open the door. Open the door, Agent. Tap. Open the door. There it is. I opened it. I don't know how, but I did. There's a person. How am I doing? I can't control anything, sir. Everything else you gotta be doing with the keyboard, and well, it's uncomfortable to say the least. Anyway, so now we've exhausted everything that it comes with. That's it. Actually, let's try paint. So there's something that it is not very good with, and that is clicking and dragging. Like when you hold it down, it doesn't want to do, there you go. It doesn't want to do movement anymore. So you kind of have to like move it a lot. And do like, it's the same problem I was having playing solitaire. There we go. And now for the R. Come on now. Yeah, it worked better that time. Yeah, perfect. There's a learning curve to this, obviously, but I've been using this thing for hours and it's just not getting much better. Man, you should have seen it when I first started this. I wish I was recording that, but it was so much worse. So here's a test that should be stupid. Duke Nukem 3D. We gotta go around here and control things with the mouse. And honestly, considering how limited this game is with the mouse anyway, this is not too bad. Now, one thing I was kind of disappointed in was the fact that I saw like a lot of the promo shots saying that you could like do this, like, you know, finger guns, which you can, but that also means that you can no longer look around because yeah, you're not only like pressing other buttons down here to make that shape, but you're yeah, if you're sideways, it's not gonna like be happy to move around. But I think it's mostly because you're pressing other buttons. I think middle, yep, middle finger opens doors. Sure does. Nice. Oh, look this way, other way, other way. Oh, he's teleporting away. Come on now, come back. No, no! I got this. Oh, no, I don't. Look the other way, Duke. Look down. Whew. All right, we got this. I really did. Come on now. Okay. Come on now. Look down! Ah. Well, that's the P5 glove. Oh man, it feels so gross right now too. That I've got glove hand. Look at that. You can get the red marks and everything. It digs in there. It is definitely made for hands a little smaller than mine. But that is what it is. The P5 glove, everyone. What a joke. Well, that's about it for the P5 glove by Essential Reality. It is not the most enjoyable thing to use in practice. The idea is much more interesting than the actual experience, but you know, nonetheless, I'm amused by this thing. I'm glad it exists, and I was glad to have the opportunity to take a look at it. However, man, it really is just disappointing in the end, you know? Even knowing its limitations going in, I still somehow ended up disappointed. And yeah, that's just kind of how it goes with all of these virtual gloves that I've used. You know, I've messed with like the Valve Index more recently, and it's interesting to have that kind of a finger tracking thing, but even that's still like not quite where I want it yet. So it's like, oh, you know, when is this ever going to get to a place where this actually makes sense as an input device? You know, gloves, maybe never. But it's neat to see all the steps along the way for sure. Although I did actually try, just for sake of completeness, those custom drivers and API things that were made for it back in the day, and they do improve it somewhat with certain things. It's not really so much a full driver replacement such as it is a library or set of libraries that just goes on top of what Essential Reality provided and improves the input on certain things like Hitman and Tiger Hunt were a little bit smoother to look around and whatnot. In relative mode, there's some absolute mode possibilities as well. Like certain other things though, like that ball grabbing game or whatever it is, that was actually worse, I thought, with those new drivers. And it's also not going to affect or improve the desktop mouse movement mode at all, because apparently that's just built into the hardware itself, and it relies on Windows's input drivers for mouse USB stuff, and that's about it. So it really doesn't do much in terms of improving the experience for what I hoped that maybe it could do. But, you know, that's just kind of how it goes. It's one of those devices that was really intriguing because, of course, you see these kinds of gloves and whatnot. VR gloves were always this thing that seemed like it could be possible. You saw it in movies like Jurassic Park. That one scene where the scientist is looking around and messing with DNA or something in VR, or also Minority Report. Yeah, there were gloves there. You know, I guess Spielberg has a thing for VR gloves. But anyway, yeah, this is not that, is what I'm trying to say. And that's unfortunate, but, you know, I guess I didn't really have any expectations of that being the case either. Still, it's an interesting device to mess with, and as the hobbyist scene is kind of one of those things where it made a little more sense once it got cheaper. It kind of reminds me of the Xbox Kinect in that sense, or, you know, even the Wiimote and the PlayStation Move. When hardware hackers got a hold of it and started writing their own software, there were some interesting things that were done that were actually more interesting than the official software for it. There's a couple videos on YouTube of this, some people taking them apart and improving them, or one guy even uses it as like a MIDI, I think it's an oscillator or something, you know, he's doing it like a virtual theremin some interesting ideas, but it's not the thing you want to actually use in your day-to-day. It is what it is. That is the P5 glove, and that is LGR Oddware. And if you like this episode of Oddware, then perhaps you'd like to check out some of the others that I've done in the past, as well as who knows what else. I do a whole lot of things here in LGR, with new videos uploading every week. And as always, thank you very much for watching.